Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket for Wednesday, the 29th of June. Today on the show, black market keys, pistol pew-pews, and E3 lies and subterfuge. Alright, here's what's been making headlines. And first up, game key reseller G2A admits it might have been ripping off game publishers just a wee bit. Last week we covered a little feud that broke out between the online retailer and publishing studio TinyBuild, the team behind games like No Time to Explain and Punch Club. TinyBuild accused G2A of selling nearly $500,000 worth of fraudulent game keys, of which the publisher did not receive a penny. They insinuated that G2A facilitated a black market economy by allowing people to use stolen credit cards to purchase keys from third-party resellers, then resell those keys for much lower than their market value. Key reselling is an undeniably dodgy business practice. At best, it's a legal grey area that is definitely being exploited, but G2A think they have come up with a possible solution. Overnight, they revealed a plan which would allow publishers to apply for the right to earn up to 10% of royalties from games sold through G2A, which they have IP ownership of. They're also going to give publishers and developers access to their G2A database so they can verify sales and volume. And finally, they're installing a new funding option for end users, which allows them to contribute funds through a special button on a developer's product page. TinyBuild CEO Alex Nichboy has responded to the offer on the site's blog with an expected amount of trepidation. He says the only tangible part of their program is the royalties to developers and database access, which undoubtedly is a good step. We will need to see how it works in practice. It still doesn't solve the issue of stolen keys or the shady business practice of forcing down insurance on consumers. Lead designer of Goose has left developer 22 Cans and apparently hasn't worked there for some time. Mighty Number 9's come out, we gotta turn our attention to another one. According to sources for Rock Paper Shotgun, Konrad Nazinski's contract expired after the release of Goddess Wars in February this year, and now there's no one working on the game. Speaking to Eurogamer, 22 Can CEO Simon Phillips denied that the game had been abandoned prematurely, saying that Konrad was actually a contractor and was tasked with building the levels on Goddess Wars. He completed these for the last update, so his contract ran down. Despite Konrad's exit, Phillips stressed that Goddess is an ongoing project. Overwatch has finally received its highly anticipated competitive mode. The patch has started rolling out for PC and will come within the next week for console owners as the patch fights its way through the approval system. The competitive playlist tweaks game modes and adds a new ranking system based on skill rather than time played and experience earned. To get a skill rank, players will need to complete 10 placement matches. From there, they'll be able to continue to move up and down the 1 to 100 scale, with 100 being the bestest of the bestest, based on wins and losses and average skill rank of the players in a given match. So kind of like the old school Halo matchmaking system. Next up, and the Banner Saga 2 has had its console release date moved forwards. What? That's cue for John to put in like celebratory dubstep. Is that a thing? Originally slated for release on the 26th of July, the game will now be launching on Xbox One on the 1st of July and on PS4 on the 5th. Apparently the team behind the ports, Shiny Shoe, are just too damn good at their jobs. At launch, the Xbox One version will be free to all Xbox Live Gold members. And in more traditional game release date news, the Batman Return to Arkham bundle has been delayed. The Bat Bundle was due for a July 29th release, but it has been delayed indefinitely in order to give the port team at Virtuous Games additional time to polish. Can't afford another Arkham Knight PC debacle, that's for sure. Warner Brothers rep Steve Grayson said, "We do not have a release date yet, and we will be sure to communicate that once we are sure the game will be ready." The game will probably not be available to all Xbox Live Gold members. All right, moving on now, it's time for Thing of the Day. Holy crap. CSGO Pro Shocks pulled out some mad pistol skills in the S1 finals. Impressive feat, but then again, British casters make everything sound good.
In the face, and he will close the distance if he has to. Look at that, one bullet fired, one man down. He may get taken down from the back though. What is shot? Are you serious? You can't do this! No! Taco, the last man standing, Shocks looking to ace the entire team.
Holy crap. And now it's talk through time, where you suggest a topic and we talk through it. Joined by Goose.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm cozy right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You feel good?
Yeah.
Our question comes in from Indie Mouse, who says, NichBoy, can you show me how to grow a beard like yours? Talk through topic. Indie Mouse learns to grow a beard by NichBoy.
Why you?
Yeah, I know. So please.
Yeah.
Please. The reason was, I brought you here because I can't really grow a beard. We have some footage from me last year. That's as thick as it gets. It grows a lot here, and then it kind of stops growing long. But
Right.
you, magnificence.
Routine, you need beard oil, beard balm, and a beard brush, which I just purchased recently, which is carved from a single piece of maple oak, I believe. And you apply the oil in the evenings and the balm in the morning, and a regular brushing. And then you'll look just like this.
Really?
Yeah. Unscented oil as well.
Does that help you grow it or just manage it?
It thickens it, and it manages it, and it just makes you pay attention to your beard more often. So I feel like that's how you make it grow. Just
Did you say you've got a brush carved from a single piece of maple oak?
you're not going to use 2 pieces of maple oak. That's just well, 1 piece, solid.
They're 2 different trees. I know, that's what I'm...
Are they?
Yeah, it's a maple or an oak, right? Our actual talk through topic comes in from Riley Poling, who says, how do you feel about games being presented at E3 not being representative of the final product, as in graphical downgrades or gameplay mechanics changing or not being included at all?
I have more things about the beard.
We'll get those after the credits.
Okay.
Do you feel like this is something that can or should be punished? Games like games like the first Watch Dogs, Aliens, Colonial Marines, or any game shown by Ubisoft are sort of like famous traitors to this idea.
Yeah. I think we're seeing a lot less of it now, which is good. Particularly this E3, I don't think there were any standouts that felt like that game isn't going to deliver. There was a lot of actual gameplay being touted at the bottom of the trailers, and I think we were seeing games that were pretty far on in their development cycle, so we weren't getting these kind of like little hints of trailers. Maybe like the Kojima game?
I was about to say the Kojima game, which he hasn't even said he's using that engine.
Yeah, exactly. But that game is just inherently mysterious,
Yeah.
so I don't think if you made any assumptions about that, they're going to come true. I think in the past, yeah, there have been some pretty bad examples. Ubisoft in particular, a lot of their games have notorious downgrades, so games like Watch Dogs, the Rainbow Six Siege recently.
The Far Cry series,
Yeah.
pretty much all, Assassin's Creed, all the Ubisoft games.
I'm pretty lenient on that though, because what they're having to develop for these press conferences is essentially like a vertical slice of their game. And they're going to want to show it off in the best light that they can do. And often there are just some extra lighting effects and some particle effects that they put in there. And I kind of forgive them for that because they're really proud of their product and they're not completely showing a different game. They're just showing one that has some slight different visual tweaks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you do need to remember that it's advertising. E3 is announcing all these games, but they're trying to sell all these games to you at that point. So they're trying to put their best foot forward in all possible ways.
And often these are PC builds, and so it's very difficult to make a game that's optimized for what everyone out there is going to be playing it on their different rigs.
But I think you actually brought up the salient point there, which was that a lot of the games we saw at this year's E3 are games that are coming out soon.
Yeah.
And that most of the time when these sort of offenders come out, then you're looking at games that aren't going to be released in the next sort of 6 months or whatever. So you're looking at Killzone or Watch Dogs as being these games where you go, this is what the developers want to do. This is their ambition right now, is we're going to make the whole game look like this. And then throughout the development cycle, they go, oh, we can't actually do this.
Yeah, they hit hurdles along the way.
Yeah, we're running out of memory, or we can't like process all these textures or whatever. So you're seeing at the time, most of the time I would say you're seeing a genuine moment of, this is really what we want to make, but then the realities of development set in and the time crunch and all that sort of thing, and you just need to drop things from it.
I mean, we're a skeptical bunch as gamers, and we're very quick to jump on the attack when it comes to looking at a developer's vision and saying that, oh, you didn't reach that, or there's no way you can make a game look that good. They want it to look that good. That's their artists coming forward and saying, this is the idea we have. And of course they're going to hit limitations along the way. So I think we need to be a little quick to forgive as well and say, sure, you're still providing a game, you've still got that core mechanic there. Now, it's when a game changes its mechanics or plays ultimately a lot different from the trailer you see. And I think we've come a long way from those days as well, because people are quick to discover those flaws. And I think we're talking things like a lot of Peter Molyneux games. a lot of
I mean,
promises.
those games don't even come out anymore.
Exactly.
Let alone not play like they intended. They just don't play.
And I think developers have learnt their lesson there and thought that the bad press they get in the long run for promising something they don't deliver definitely outweighs any of the good press they might get at the start.
Yeah, particularly given, like, when, Fable is coming out, Twitter, I don't even know if Twitter existed
Probably
then, but
not.
if it did, it's not the sort of force of nature that it is now, where you go, Twitch streaming and instant reactions and this sort of things, the more that we can criticize something immediately, I think the more hesitant people are to put something forward.
First Fable's a great example. That was that game where I think Peter Molyneux was like, you can plant a single seed, and by the end of the game, your family will have a tree.
A maple oak.
Yeah, a maple oak that you can put a swing on and push your son on. And it's like, I think by the third Fable, there was like an area that you could be like, plant tree, success. And like that's how long it took them to get there. So I think we've come a long way from promising that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and but you said that you don't like when they remove mechanics. I remember Bioshock Infinite got showed off, and one of Elizabeth's sort of summoning, she could summon anything. Remember, she could summon a lot of stuff, and in the game that was paired way back. To me, I mean, it's not always a positive sign, but I go, oh, you've removed that because you've gone, that didn't work in the game. Like, you've removed it looked cool, but maybe it didn't work in the game, and I would rather have a game that works than a game that is broken because you had too much ambition.
It's difficult when that thing is quite a spectacle.
That is true.
I was looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, when it's like a selling point of the game,
Yeah.
and it's like not in there anymore. I'll tell you what I do not like with Ubisoft. Ubisoft, it's technically not lying, but a lot of their trailers and a lot of their demos are actors doing the voices. So, like, I remember the Division trailer being this thing where people are like, all right, he's coming up on your 6, and like, blah, 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 and they're doing all this tactical talk.
I thought that was the game chatter. I thought that was voice actors the first time I saw it. I thought, oh, these are the characters talking to each other. And then we watched it and went, hang on, they're like, Mike's gonna drop in for a game. Hey, Mike, how you going? Yeah, all right, I've just got my scope ready. Let's take that base. I'm like, nobody talks like this, at least not in Australia.
Yeah, and like, I not only do my friends not do that, I don't know how to do that, but the way you've done it sort of implies the game is it makes the game look more fun than it is because but technically you can do that. You can learn all those phrases if you want, but no one's gonna play along with you.
No, have you seen how we play those games? It's usually Barjo on a police car, just like teabagging the police car, going whoop whoop whoop, and it's like that's actually more fun sometimes.
Yeah.
I think a really good example this year was Sea of Thieves. The demo that Rare put out. I think they'd just gone and got a bunch of gamers and basically put webcams on them and said, like, just go nuts, play our game. They were just mucking about. They were, leaving people behind. They were trolling each other. They were playing the way people really play that game. And so when we saw that trailer up on the big screen, everyone was genuinely laughing at it and going, this looks like a game I want to play. I think developers need to show an honest slice of how their game is experienced.
Yeah. And to the last part of the question, do you think that these developers should be punished?
I think the punishment comes when they get outed, when people discover that the game is not what they promised, and as you said, social media, everything just blows up and they end up getting punished like that.
Yeah. I don't know if we can punish them and, like, we can't spank them. As much as we want to spank them.
Put them in the gallows.
We can't just start spanking random people. Alright, that is it for the talk through, ladies and gentlemen. Who have you spanked? Let me know in the comments. And what game do you famously remember seeing as being, oh, that's something I really want to play, and then when it came out, you go, oh, it was nothing like what they saw me in the first place. Let us know more talk through suggestions as well. And while you're on the internet writing all that stuff, check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at Good Game TV. You can spank Pocket at NichBoy, at Pierreth, at GG, at MonkeyNet, Sam Geek. He's at Goose Mangus, and there are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by Pink Girl. Thank you very much, Pink Girl. If you've made a thing, please send it in. Till tomorrow, NichBoy out. Mwah.
Goose out.
So, more beard tips?
So basically, people often think a tortoiseshell comb will be a better option. And it is very fancy, it's nice to have in the top pocket. But the problem with a comb is when you brush, you get too close to the skin. And as that happens, you can often sort of cause inroads.
Oh, yeah.
So the brush has a heavy bristle, and that way it can kind of like, it can control the hair and guide it. But are we still rolling?
Yeah.
Good. It can guide the hair, and that'll teach the hair where to grow.
I just want to let you know that I googled maple oak while we were talking about the talk through to make sure that it's not actually a tree. And the first result is difference between oak and maple.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah. So you actually got sold something that they said was better than the thing you actually got.
Damn snake oil salesman.
Snake oil. Pretty good. Did not know that piece of information.